I'm going to tell you a secret that you are free to tell everyone and anyone you know. Come up front with me a little more. There you go. You ready? Government officials are people too. I know, right? Government officials, which include anyone from a city commissioner to the president, are as human as you and I are. What a shocker! Okay, you can sit back down now. As we watch them on the news, read about them online, and see them on billboards, government officials can seem larger than life. They're practically celebrities at times. I remember the first time I went to my state capital. It was on a school trip in my graduate program for the National Association of Social Workers, NASW, Advocacy Day. You may now stop laughing about the fact that I went on a field trip while studying for my master's. As I was saying, my fellow classmates and friends were standing against a wall, all of us dressed professionally. We were in a fully packed committee room, which is a room where government officials meet to hold sessions. Being in session refers to the time when government officials meet to vote on a bill, usually meaning they're required to be at their capital office. As we waited for everything to start, more and more big-name officials came into the room to take their seats at the front. One of my friends casually named as many as he could recognize. With each name he said, a different classmate of mine got a little too excited. She nervously shuffled in place with her high heels. Her hands shook and she smiled broadly. "I'm so starstruck," she exclaimed, before confessing that she didn't really know who any of these people were beforehand. Building relationships with government officials is one of the most important and daunting ways to advocate. I've had people ask me how I could possibly know how to meet with an official or what to say when I write an email to one. Honestly, it's not as scary as it seems. Yet, I was in the same mentality before I met an official myself. The first one I met was thanks to that friend of mine who named so many officials. He set up an appointment with his House representative for that advocacy day and let me tag along. It turned out that the official had decided to meet with multiple students in my program together. As the official chatted about different issues, most of which I was passionate about and had my own opinions on, the nervousness turned to excitement. I didn't have anything prepared and had to improvise, but I knew I had something to add to the conversation. So I went up to the official after the meeting ended. Once he was done talking to someone else, I mentioned my internship placement and tied the work we did to one of the issues he had brought up. Needless to say, I ended up swapping business cards with his legislative aide, who was basically his assistant. He turned out to build a great relationship with my former internship placement. They worked together to create a bill on another issue they were passionate about, and even though it didn't pass, I loved knowing that I brought the two together. Another interesting connection was that the legislative aide's twin sister had decided to run for office, which meant that she was trying to collect votes to become a government official, and she won. To this day, several years after that initial meeting, the four of us are still in contact via text or email. Mostly, though, we network online via social media. I also always make a point to greet them when I run into them at an advocacy event. The point of the story is to show you how important it is to build relationships with government officials. You may not be able to write and pass bills yourself, unless you want to run for office, which is beyond my scope of knowledge. You're welcome to, though. I wish you luck if you do. However, you can still work with government officials on issues you care about by getting them to vote on related bills, whether urging them to vote in favor or not. There are multiple ways to build these relationships, and I'll go over the most common ones. Who knows? Maybe you'll work your way up to being invited to the next president's inauguration ball. Then you'll get to voice your opinion on the new administration to the vice president as you watch the president walk to the dance floor. Okay, maybe that's a little far-fetched. You never know, though.